Hello, friends. Welcome to Nirpa's Talk Show. This is your host, Nirpa Chetri. I arrange talk show to share the experience and thoughts with all of you. Today, I have a very special guest, Piyush Kumar, who is based out of Canada, far away from India. And he holds very good industry experience. Uh, Previously, he worked with one of the renowned multinational company called General Motor and made a very remarkable contribution in his leadership role. Moreover, he is also a co-founder, a technology startup founder, and he has been scaling up the the design and manufacturing component in his startup venture today. Apart from his professional responsibility, he is also associated with startup communities and empowering the society at large. I'm very glad that Piyush has accepted my request for invitation today and ready to share his experience. Hello, Piyush. Welcome to Nirpa's Talk Show. Thank you.
Everybody, no, thank you. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me. And I look forward to having a good discussion.
Yep. Thank you. So, Piyush, I know you have been very successful in both your entrepreneurship journey as well as in professional career, right? So, for my audience, you kindly share your transformation journey, your personal transformation journey, where you started, what kind of discipline, what kind of motivation, what kind of your friend circle who help you to groom yourself to the position that you are today.
Yeah, but you're very kind when you say successful. I wouldn't say successful as of yet, but yeah, basically, I started out, went to University of Waterloo here. That has a very strong entrepreneurial program.
Okay.
I always was involved in always doing things. I would break the remote control cars. I would put them all together. I was always in interested in doing things that are maybe a little bit different. I mean, everyone does. Everyone's kind of involved in things they want to do, and early on, I kind of enjoyed kind of building things, breaking things probably more if you ask my mom, right? But not too successful in putting them back together, so that was always a good thing, breaking things. But as I started university, I took mechanical engineering at University of Waterloo. That really opened up kind of the scope in my life in terms of really understanding. And I always wanted to do start my own business. I always wanted to do that. But in what area or in what sense, I had no idea, right? So one of the key things I wanted to do, especially when I went to Waterloo, and Waterloo's got a very strong ecosystem in entrepreneurship that is very helpful, and it's got a lot of smart people. So when you hang out with all these smart people every day, like 24 hours a day, something's got to go in your head. It's like, hey, what am I doing, right? There's your classmates are starting companies, they're selling it to Google for $300 million, right? And you're like, what am I doing? Like I'm just sitting here, right? So that really pushes you and says, hey, you know what? I think I have the skills, because if my classmates did it or if they did it, hey, you know what? I can do it too, right? But you have to have that drive, that fire from within, right? But having that fire is important, but also you have to keep that fire going, because starting a fire is easy, but maintaining it, you have to bring in the wood. You got to make sure the oxygen is there, right? You have to make sure the fuel is there,
Yeah.
right? That takes a lot of energy, right? So what I would say is Waterloo, it started the fire, right? But it was up to me to keep the fire going, and the way I kept it is basically, we would, I started a couple of companies in when I was at Waterloo. They were not successful, right? But I learned a lot from them, right? A lot of mistakes I made, a lot of I would say decisions that I look back and say, hey, you know what? They were very clear, but at that moment, I didn't have that knowledge, right? And knowledge is power, right? So when you're young, you think you can do everything, right? So I made the mistakes, I learned from them, and that really kind of put me on a path where I said, hey, you know what? This is what I want to do, right? These are the companies I want to start. Now, when you realize that you want to do this, The next logical step is, hey, what industry should I be looking into? Right. So now there's a couple of ways you can do this. I mean, there's problems you have personally that you say, hey, these are some good problems that I can solve, right? Or you look at an industry that's gonna really grow in the future, and you say, hey, you know what, right now it's in its infancy, and then something what Jeff Bezos did, right, with Amazon, right, when they were starting off internet. Um, or you can just do the things you love, right? And it doesn't have to be that people, have not done it before. Maybe you can do a better job than someone's done it in the past, right? So that's kind of the journey. And I after graduation, I did, I had a startup. It's called Velotron Labs. Did that. Ran out of money. So we're like, hey, I gotta find a real job now. You gotta, you need something to eat. So I gotta worked at General Motors there. Opportunity came up there, and then basically, I always wanted to do my own stuff, right? And opportunity came up last year to acquire this. So we're the designers and manufacturers of custom transformers and inductors, so we call it magnetics. An opportunity came up to acquire the company, and I said, hey, the scope, as I mentioned, on this industry is massive because everything is getting electrolyzed, right? I mean, it's not really a word, but everything is going more computer side, right? More, electrical. Everything is more, like a car now is more of a computer than a mechanical car, right? So this is a massive scope, and these components are required in every single electrical product on the planet,
Yeah.
right? So the scope is unlimited, right? Especially with electric cars, electric vehicles, renewable energy, the push into renewable, right? A lot of solar. So the scope was massive, and I said, hey, you know what? I think it's time to jump back in, and that's how. So it's been about 9 months, I believe, at this thing. So we are scaling up fast, but it's a very fun journey for me, because it's um, it's exciting, and if you do things that you love, it's very exciting. It's fun. It's not work. When people say they work 12 hours, well, I don't work at all, because, I might be working 7 days a week, 100 hours a week or two, 120 hours, but guess what? It's not work to me, right? Because I enjoy doing it, right?
Exactly.
And that's why, one of my key things is, if I really want to spend so much time doing something, I want to enjoy it, because we have a very short time on this planet which we live, and if you don't enjoy it, it's a very miserable time. So that was kind of the brief journey condensed into like 5
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah. No, thank you. I think we'll talk more about your overall startup challenges and so on in subsequent discussion. But what the key point as far as your transformation journey that I can derive from your conversation, right? Of course, you got uh, the structural learnings from your academic background, but more importantly, the friend circles or the company that pushed you to the level that where you stand today, right? I think that is the key message that I would love. I would probably think that our audience will take it from your transformation journey. But probably let's go to the next level of discussion, Piyush, right? So you being a technology entrepreneur, and you have seen today the competitive advantage and the emerging market in case, and then innovations, everything is driven by technology today, right? And then technology is the key enabler for any business growth, either it is a small startup or it's a large enterprise. And but how can we leverage the technology for scalability and sustainability? That is the key questions for any technology entrepreneurs or even the senior professional leadership, right? So I would love to hear from you. What do you think? How and what are the, the process or steps by which technology can be the key enabler for overall scalability of an organization?
Yeah, I think technology is very important if you want to be successful now, right? And one of the key things for change management in an organization, you have to be careful about is, you have to, and I'll give you some personal examples,
Exactly. Yeah.
so it would make sense. You have to take um, the rhythm of the company that you're trying to enable into an account. And what I mean by this is, if there's a company that's been there for hundreds of years, and you're trying to bring in all this, next level technology, and people have never seen it, you are most likely going to be unsuccessful,
Yeah.
because the people are not going to accept it,
Exactly.
right? So one of the key challenges for change management is how to effectively let everyone know that, hey, this is important for us to change, because we're not going to survive another 100 years without this. But also, it's going to be beneficial for you, because it will make your life easier, right? And one of the best tools of doing that is communication, right? Properly communicating with your employees and saying, just making sure that, hey, this is the technology we're gonna bring, and it's gonna make your life easier. Because at the end of the day, no one cares about what technology you bring in. If it doesn't make my life easier, I don't care about it,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
We have to break it down as management or leadership into saying, hey, in your job, this is what it's going to do. And look at how much time you're going to have to do your things that you want to do. So you don't have to work a lot of overtime, right? You don't have to do long days. You can go home early now, right? Your wife is going to be happy. Your kids are going to be happy, right? And that is one of the key things. But leveraging the technology is very important. And in what I am doing right now, we are working on implementing a lot of new technologies at our company right now, because we are reaching a point where we cannot grow until we add these systems in place,
Yeah.
because we have maxed out our growth with the current systems, right? Now, obviously, as this company has been here in Europa for 1945, so it's 78 years, right? We have to do a really good job in terms of letting our employees and our team members know that, hey, this job, we're doing this. It's going to be a lot of work to do this, but once it's done, it's going to be easy for you, right? Look at all the spreadsheets you have to do now, and look at that. Now we only have to do one, and they're like, oh wow, like this is amazing. Okay, let me see what I can do, right? So technology is something that needs to be embraced, right? And it needs to be done in a manner which the organization can take, right? It's good to go fast, right? Everyone loves. I will tell you, I love to go fast. Like my goal is go, fail fast and go fast, right? I mean, but the key thing is, you have to look at the rhythm of the organization, right? And the rhythm is can change over time. It's like a human being, the rhythm, once you exercise, your resting heart rate, everything changes, right? It gets better. So over time, it's going to get better. But initially, when you're trying to ramp up with all these technologies, you got to take the rhythm of the organization into account, and maybe go at that pace, right? Push a little bit, back off. Push, back off, right? And maybe you can push twice now and then back off a little bit,
Yeah.
right? And eventually, within a year or two, it will come to an equilibrium. But that is the key with scaling up, especially using technology in an older organization. This is one of the biggest problems I found personally is understanding where that rhythm is, right? Because once you understand the rhythm, it's easy to make a decision. But if you don't know how fast the rhythm should go, then you're bound to fall a little bit, and then you got to get up and then walk backwards and then go forward again. It's very important to incorporate technology, because technology is only going to make us more competitive,
Yeah.
especially in Canada. we are at a disadvantage of manpower. We don't have a lot of manpower. So we have to be very productive per capita, so or per employee compared to the rest of the world. Because our taxes are very high, our hydro rates are very high, everything is very expensive, right? So you have to be very productive and be very good at what you do if you're going to compete against, some of the bigger guys, in the US and Asia, India, China, Europe, right? So you really have to, get your organization into a rhythm of accepting change, because that is the only thing that's going to be constant, going forward. So
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Basically, some of the points, right? Fail fast and learn fast. That is the key mantra here. And then second point, what you say it is basically incrementally and iteratively implement the technology as we move
yeah,
along. And thereby you
yeah,
will learn something, and then each learning will teach you how to improve the next level, right? And that should be
exactly.
the overall technology implementation strategy, I think, as you rightly said. Uh, let's move to the again next point. We may discuss further
Yeah,
in details, probably. Yeah. Though the
yeah,
pupil aspect of use, right? I know in 21st century, managing people is one of the biggest challenge. Each people
yeah,
have different expectations, different backgrounds, different cultural background, and different mindset as well.
yeah,
So people like you and me, where we are leading the people in a large organization or small organizations, but then there are many challenges. And how can we bring such a culture where
yeah.
each of the employee or each of the people that we work along become more productive and bring the efficiency and agility in the project that we are engaged with? What is your
Yeah.
thought on that?
Yeah, so I think one of the key things, as a leader, Nirpa, we have to be able to do is we have to be able to empower our employees,
True,
right?
exactly.
Now there's two ways of getting people to do what you want. The one way is you beat them with a stick, or the other way is you you get their respect, and then when you ask them, they will do it, right?
Wow.
Now,
Very good.
now, the first way, you beat people with sticks, they will do whatever you want, right?
Exactly.
There might be one or two people that you beat them enough times, they will submit and they will do it. Okay,
Yeah,
but that's not what my philosophy is. Okay, my philosophy is the other way, right? We have to gain their respect, right? We have to empower them to make the right decisions and let them know that it's okay if they fail. It's okay, no problem. As long as we learn from our mistakes, we need to go back and do a better job next time,
yep,
right? So, leading people is by far the hardest job of a leader
exactly.
anywhere on this planet,
Yeah,
right? Because everything else can be broken down into math equations and strategy and things like that. But people cannot be broken down. You need to use some of the emotions and feelings, because that's how life is,
yeah,
right? A lot of times, you try to avoid using emotions and feelings in making decisions, but that's how life is. Human beings are emotional people, right? So emotions are naturally involved, but and that's why it is very important for a leader to be trusted and respected. Because Nibra, if I respect you, I will go beyond what you said to me, and I will do a way better job. Because you know what? I respect Nibra.
yeah,
I respect what he does, right? So I want to make sure he's happy with me. So I'm
exactly.
going to go on and do a really good job,
Yeah,
right? And that should be the philosophy, right?
yeah,
And we should not, sometimes, people do not perform at the level they can,
yeah,
right? And it's up to a leader to get that out. If your people are not performing up to the standard, it's your problem. It's not the employee's problem, unless, explicitly, you've talked to them and they found out there's something going on. But if your team is not performing, the leader needs to look themselves within and say, hey, what am I doing wrong? Because you are in charge. You are responsible for everyone, right? You have to make sure that you understand what your team's going through. And guess what? Whatever your team's going through, you need to be there every step of the way for them to get help and whatever they need. If they're staying there till 10 o'clock at night, you stay there till 11 at night. Doesn't matter, right? It's like the same mentality as the captain of the ship, right? The captain of the ship doesn't lead the ship. He's the last guy to lead the ship.
True.
Even when it's sinking, he's the last person because his job is to make sure he gets everyone off that ship in a safe manner, and he's the last one. Same as a leader. You're on a boat. You need to make sure all your people are taken care of before you do anything.
Yep.
So that's why dealing with people and really empowering them is the best way I feel that you can bring about people management, and then you don't really manage a lot. You just tell them, hey, this is what I expect, and then guess what? They respect you and they do the job.
Yep.
Because Nirpa, the problem is everyone knows what they need to do.
True.
Everyone knows what they need to do.
Yeah.
No one is stupid enough not to know what they need to do. They don't have to do all day, right? It's just how to go about doing it and how to go about doing it in a time frame which is conducive to the company and management and themselves, right? And the project deadlines and everything like that, right? And that is the hardest part of anything. And I think that's one of the key things for people management is empowerment.
Yeah. No, very key point that you have messaged. Basically, one of the key area that I can pick up from your conversation, right? The trust. When we give it the demonstrate the trust, probably other people get the confidence and motivation to work better. That is what I have seen in my some of the engagement recently in my last project, where one of very junior girl whom I have given the lot of work, but then I have very close eye what she is doing. But then when I have trusted her and she was able to deliver, even working in the weekend, although I didn't expect it, right?
Yeah.
I think that is the key point. But at the same time, overall, the respect, empowerment, that is also play very significant role. But to one of the major challenge that I have seen, probably not this generation, in the upcoming generation, Piyush, like the society that we brought up is where there is a lot of mutual collaboration, mutual the interactions, human interactions were much more, and thereby some of the human values, tolerance, empathy were evolved during that process. And today's generation, because of the digital technology, there are very less human interaction, and which is stopping our young people to develop some of the social skills and human skills, which can create the problem in the near future. What do you think?
I mean, see that the technology is changing so fast. It's really hard for someone born in the 2000s, right, to really understand what people back in the day did, when they didn't have the technology, right? But I always think that even with the technology, all this stuff, people interaction is always going to be a key part.
Exactly.
And if you're not learning this in school as a kid, I mean, it's going to be hard. It's
Yeah.
going to be hard for you when you get to real life. Guess what? Everything is done. Yeah,
Exactly.
you can do it virtually, but a lot of things are still done in person, right? So you're going to have to figure it out, right? Because and if those skills are not developed early enough,
Exactly.
some of them, they can learn. I mean, it's not that hard, but they can learn. But it's going to be a hard time, adjusting into the real life once
Exactly.
they get to high school and in the real job environment and things like that, right? But as you said, I mean, the skills are not getting developed early enough because they don't have to because everything is online and you don't have to, right? So you miss the little cues here and there on how to talk to people, reading body language, right? Sometimes, the biggest thing you can do is without even a person speaking, you can look at a person's body language and say, hey, okay, this person's scared or confident or, they're feeling something, you know what I mean? And those things are going to be have to develop. I mean, they'll have to develop it either one way or the other. But how fast they develop it and how easy it is for them to adjust along the way, that's going to be different. But I agree that maybe have something now with in the school system or things like that to really get the kids involved in making sure that they spend enough time with each other and developing those skills social interactions with each other. That would be very important. That is correct.
Yeah, yeah. I appreciate you acknowledge my view. So let's move to the next point,
Yeah.
views, because it is my personal interest. Basically, in today's
Yeah.
professional setup, right? Any professional to grow, he has to be specialized in certain
Yes.
area. But at the same time, because of this complex system evolving today, either it is technology field or any other business process, right? Today, if you see the e-commerce app, it is also integrated with multiple technologies. Either it is artificial intelligence, payment gateway, and then recommendation engines and marketing digital tools and so on and so forth. So any technology persons or it's even the business domain expert, he has to become horizontally and vertically skills. Now, according to you, what do you think? What is your perspective? What level of engagement is required for any professional in terms of horizontal and vertical skills to grow in the industry?
I mean, one thing, Nipper, for me is, you got to do what you love, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Very true.
See, the key thing is this, right? Because if you want to compete with the best people on the planet, these people are not working just 10 hours a day, 8 hours a day at what they do. They're doing this 24 hours a day. So you cannot compete with someone who's doing that for 24 hours a day for years and years and years. And then you just say, you know what, I think I want to be, an expert in this. And then, I'm going to spend 10 hours every day or 8 hours every day. And then I'll just do it Monday to Friday and then relax on the weekend. You cannot compete with that.
Yeah.
Right. So it is very important to find out what you love. Right. And there could be some things, as you said, there's the industry is so massive. Right. Try different things out. Right. Once you try different things, you will understand, hey, you know what? I like this. I like that. And go try it out and spend some time on it. And once you figure out what you really love, guess what? You're going to work at it 12 hours, 24 hours a day too. And you would feel that you're working at it. And guess what? You will naturally become an expert at it. Right? It's like the book Outliers by, I don't know if you had a chance to read it, by Malcolm Gladwell, but you should maybe get a chance when you read it. They say it takes about 10,000 hours to become an expert at something, of constantly doing it. So the faster you spend those 10,000 hours, the faster you can be an expert at it,
Yeah.
right? So
Key
there's
point.
kids that are 12 years old and they're expert because guess what? They've already spent the 10,000 hours on it. There's people at 55, they become experts because they've spent 10,000 at 55, right? It's how fast you can spend those hours, and that's a lot of hours. So you better enjoy what you're doing because if you're just doing, and this is constantly doing one thing, so it is very important to find something that you enjoy and be really good at it because that's when you're going to get rewarded.
Yeah.
Because when you're good at something, people appreciate that and they reward you for that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I would say in terms of that. And there's some things, being good at a lot of things or being really, really good at one thing, right? That depends on the person.
Yeah.
Right. Like for me, I am not really, really good at anything. Okay. I'm not the smartest guy in the room, right? Uh, but what I do bring is I bring value to the team where I can empower them to make the right decisions, right? My job is a helper. I'm just a helper in there, right? So I just help my team out whenever they need help. Okay. So, that's kind of the mentality, we got to look at is, in order to excel at something, you have to be really, really good. And to become really, really good, you need to spend a lot of time doing it. And to spend a lot of time doing it,
Yeah.
you need to enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So
Very
that
key.
becomes
No, I want to summarize with your key point. Otherwise, my audience may be in order to become successful, you need to be good in one of the key fields, and in order to expert in one of the key fields, you have to spend more time, and you will spend more time when you love that work. That is what your key message. Yeah,
exactly.
I think I got it completely. I think I and my audience will also get the same message, I hope. And probably let's go wrap up to our discussion probably with the last part of our conversations. And
Yeah.
you being a very busy person and you have all your, of course, like any other professional, you have a personal life as well. So how do you manage your work and personal life? At the end of the day, you need to be happy at home. Your family members should
Yeah.
also get some time from you, isn't it? So how do you manage all this? Because these are the key challenge in today's world.
Yeah, and it's a very hard challenge. I don't think I've mastered the challenge yet. It takes a lot of understanding from people around you to understand, what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, it will call it's gonna cause friction. You know what I mean? I mean, if you're spending so much time at work, you're not really spending time at home, right? And that is a very tough challenge. And I will be the first to admit I'm not the best at it. There's things that you need to keep in mind, right now, for like I'm just gonna speak for myself. Right now, we just acquired this company last year, so it's only been 9 months, right? I'm spending a lot of time with the company. There's no work life balance right now for me. I'm gonna be completely honest. But it's temporary,
True.
right? Right? If this thing goes, if if I can spend, maybe another 6 7 months on it, what we're doing, it will ease up at the end. There will be some time, right? So there's a lot of understanding from people around you that, hey, you know what, this is only temporary, right? This is something new. This is temporary. This is happening. But what I would do is, um, you know, I would try to at least have the weekends, not to work on the weekends,
Oh,
right? Work 15, 20 hours on the weekday, Monday to Friday. But maybe weekends leave it empty, right? Spend some time, right? Recharge the brain, right? And sometimes, I'll tell you, for me, it's very hard to do that now because, it's just so much stuff going on, right? But every person has to, look at their own side and see how they can make it work. And it is a very big problem. And I'm not sure, if I have the right answer on how to make it better.
yeah, yeah, I
Um,
can understand.
but I think Nirmal, where I am from my side, right? From my kind of journey and where it is, I still have a lot of time to to ramp up. I want to make sure that I put in a solid foundation for the next couple of years,
Yeah,
right? And
good.
if it requires me to work, or just just put in the time that I need to put in, it's okay, right? And I think I've been fortunate enough for people around me to understand that. I've had very supportive people around me to really push me in the right direction and say, you know what, it's okay. Go do your work. We'll take care of it, right? Just focus, right? So I've been really fortunate enough like that to to have a good strong my parents, my brother, family, friends, they're all pushing in the right direction, right? So I've been very fortunate, like that, that they understand, and I do understand that sometimes that could cause some friction, but personally for me, it's a challenge. It's a very big challenge, and I have not been able to solve it. Maybe in the next couple of years, I might be able to solve some of it, but so far not. But it is but that's kind of my perspective on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
No, no. I think some of the message that I get from you, right? You will build the foundation, and that foundation will lead you a successful life. And eventually, once you are successful professionally, probably you will also balance your personal life with them. And then spending time over the weekend completely for yourself is the one of the key messages that I can extract from you. Yeah,
exactly. But to be honest, if you love what you're doing, it doesn't matter if it's a weekend or a Monday or Tuesday. It doesn't matter. You're
yeah,
doing
yeah.
it every day, right? And one thing this is what Elon Musk said, right? It's like no one changes the world in 40 hours a week. Just remember that,
Sorry.
right? So no one changes the world working 40 hours a week, right?
True.
Everyone who's changed the world, everyone who's done big things, they do not work 40 hours a week. 40
Yeah,
hours a week is just a warm up for them,
yeah,
right? Because their life and Nipper, one of the key things, when you start, running a company, owning it, stuff like that, the biggest thing you find is flexibility,
True.
right?
Yeah.
If I have to do this call, with you at 10 a.m., I can do it. If I have to go to someone's soccer game at 11 p.m., 11 a.m., I mean, I can do that, right? I can work on the phone, right? So
Yeah.
flexibility is big now,
Yeah.
right? Same for our team. That's why I want to push for the team. Hey, you know what? If you have to leave for 2 hours and go to your doctor, go do that, right? Or if you wanna, and that's why it doesn't feel like work then, right? Because it's like, hey, you know what? I can get my stuff done in the middle, so feels like flexibility is one of the key things, and that's why you want to kind of figure out that work life, and let's say Friday you take a day off and you work Saturday, it's okay, like it doesn't matter, right? Just work out within your life on everything. We don't want any divorces or anything like that. We don't want that. You know what I mean? So work within your means and figure something out. That works for you.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think love the work that you do, and that will be the charging point for us, right? To engage continuously.
It will lead to a very beautiful life because you
Exactly.
will
Yeah.
enjoy your life.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think with this note, Piyush, it was a very insightful conversation with you. I'm very sure my audience has learned a lot of things from this beautiful conversation that we had. And I wish your very successful entrepreneurship journey moving forward. And along with you, I wish your personal life and work-life balance, and keep up, and look forward to connect with you again with this kind of wonderful conversation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Deborah. My pleasure, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gus. Bye. See you.